a lot of people around me were talking about it. And so I decided to do some research on it. Hi guys, so I just got out of service at church and I went to Bowlology for a pitaya bowl, and I thought I would, because I'm hungry, so I thought I would eat this and talk about, I don't want to say resolutions, because it's, to me, as somebody who is in recovery, setting resolutions, I feel I'm almost kind of setting myself up for failure. So I don't want to call it resolutions. But I do, there's almonds on here. I do want to talk about some self-care goals or self-care guidelines for just in general, just from here on out, and for the future. I don't know why I don't even want to call this a mukbang, because I'm not eating a massive amount of food, and I don't even know why this is really good though. It has pitaya, which is like a dragon fruit, and then it has coconut shavings, strawberries, and I added almonds, and there's also granola. It's like blended with strawberries, and it's the hula. If you've ever been to Bowlology. But anyway, I think it's important. Like I said, I don't know why I like watching these videos, because generally I'm kind of freaked out when because one of the things that people like about these videos, or like mukbang or whatever, is the sounds, I guess, that people make when they're eating. And one of them is when people chew with their mouths open, and that freaks me out. So I would never put you guys through that. And I don't think I could do a real, true mukbang, because that much food, like, I would be sick. Whatever. So I feel like during this time of year, there's a lot of talk and discussion about self-care. And naturally, a lot of people around me were talking about it. And so I decided to do some research on it. It seems like there's a lot of the things I've seen on Pinterest and on Instagram. There's a lot of encouragement to journal, to do things that make you happy. And as the kind of person I am, and I'm sure a lot of you are of the same thought, and that is, I am choosing to interpret self-care as putting myself first before others. And if that means not going to a party, not going to a dinner, instead having alone time, maybe Bible study, or I know it sounds super taboo for some of you, but going to eat on your own. I haven't done this yet, but I think one of my goals, self-care goals for 2018, is to go to a movie by myself. I talk, like, I don't think I've ever done that. I've gone to a restaurant by myself and it's really fun. You know, I get to eat some really good food and maybe read a book, or I feel like I need to stir this because I'm eating all the topping, or journal, or just be alone. Because I've said before, being alone doesn't mean lonely. I think as I get older, I appreciate alone time a lot more. And it's not necessarily an age thing. I think somebody at any age could appreciate alone time. But personally, as a 28-year-old woman, I appreciate alone time a lot. So one of the things that I want to get better at in general when it comes to self-care is not comparing myself to others. And that is something that's probably seems really simple, but I found it really difficult to do, especially in the context of relationships and careers. There are some people who are in a similar age. There's some people that are of a similar age as me, and they are way further along in their careers. And some of these people are my friends. And it's funny because a lot of them, I know their stories, I know their testimonies, but for some reason, I still compare myself to them. I know there are certain things that I've been through that they haven't been through. Instead of going, hey, you know what, maybe what I've been through is one of the reasons why I'm not in the same place, career-wise. I choose to say, to put myself down, pretty much I'm saying, hey, you're better than me. You know? It's so silly, I think. And the same is true when it comes to relationships. I'm definitely guilty of letting, the opinions of the Asian culture affect the way I see where I am in my relationship or non-relationship. I think it's natural. But to let it shape your life or like change the direction of your life is another thing entirely. So comparing, that was very long-winded. So that's one of the things I want to do more of as far as when it comes to self-care is no comparing, or minimize comparing, because I understand, like, I can't just go cold turkey. It's not gonna happen. The second thing when it comes to self-care is, like I mentioned before, putting myself first. And that doesn't mean it does mean being selfish, but not in a malicious way. It's being selfish in saying, you know what? I need some me time. I need to have some quiet time. I need to, like I said, go eat by myself, go to the movies by myself. I need to do things that elevate me. Because sometimes, don't get me wrong, I love hanging out with friends, but I think when you're hanging out with friends, you don't get time to think about what's going on in your life, what you need to do. And sometimes you can't do what you want to do all the time. Yeah, you have friends who share common interest, and they may be interested, sorry, the light is shifting. They may be interested in something that you want to do, but when you almost have to compromise, and I feel like compromising is fine. But when you're on your own, whatever you want to do, you can do. Sometimes you need that. So that's what I mean by being selfish. But last year, before I started recovery, I felt a debilitating amount of FOMO. When I wasn't invited to places, it caused me to pretty much rip myself apart emotionally. I'm sure I don't have to tell you this, but that is so unhealthy and so sad. And another part of that is when my mom and I would get in a fight. It would be over, usually, that was sour. It would be over something super trivial, and it would completely ruin my day. Like, if it was in the morning, and I had school or work, and something, we got in a silly argument, I would carry that with me throughout the day. And of course I still struggle with it, but it's definitely better. And looking back, it makes me really emotional. I think it's all, like, I've thought about it a lot, but right now, because I'm talking about it, I'm really, really, like, it's all setting in a little bit. And it's crazy. It really is. The reason I'm pausing a little bit is because I want to be very intentional with what I say next. That's one of my goals in general in life, just to be as intentional as possible. So, what do I want to say? Instead of making one of your goals or guidelines in 2018 to, I guess, instead of focusing on that next thing that you want. When I say thing, I mean material things. Maybe think about some self-care that you could work on. Because what I have gathered in the 5 months that I've been in recovery and really trying my hardest to put all of myself in it, because it is so true. You get out of it what you put into it. And I am so proud of myself for how far I've come. But I still know that there's room for improvement. And that's not me being hard on myself. That's just me being real. Because we're never done learning. one of the biggest lessons I've learned in the last 5 months, I think this will become increasingly true as I finish out my step study, is that when you're more comfortable, when you become increasingly comfortable in your own skin, everything else kind of falls into place. So if you're confident in yourself, I think your relationships in your life will be better. Your job performance will be better. And all those little things that make life more shiny and fashionable seem to just fall into place. Or you'll realize that you were compensating with those things. When you become more comfortable with yourself, you realize, hey, you know what? I don't need all the flashy things. Like, I understand, like, I want to work in fashion, so I get it. You know, like, all the nice clothes, the nice accessories, the nice shoes, those are just like the icing on the cake, right? Your self-confidence is the cake. So if you don't have that self-confidence, all this stuff, the icing and the sprinkles and all that stuff, it doesn't matter. It's not going to make you happy. And that's why even the people who have it all still come to a point where they're like, hey, I have literally every single bag, every pair of shoes, every watch that I've ever wanted, and I'm still unhappy because there's something deep rooted that they need to work out. And to me, this is one avenue to work it out. And it's just so great. I'm really happy because I definitely went into this really cocky. I definitely was like, yeah, no, I've got most of, like, 80-90% of myself worked out. Like, this will just be another stamp of validation that I'm good, you know? And I started doing this, and I was like, okay, that homework was hard. You know, I definitely cried doing that assignment, you know? So it's false confidence, because if you know me, you know that I'm not a boastful person. I almost never, like, say something positive, like, confident about myself, which is, again, something I'm working on, but that's how you know it's false confidence. So I'm so thankful, and I can't wait to share my experiences after I'm done, because it's awesome. So I'm almost done. I can't believe I ate. It's really filling, but it's so good. I think take care of yourself, because you're always going to be with yourself, no matter what relationships you have in your life. The one that is going to be the most long-lasting is the relationship you have with yourself. So invest in yourself, you know, no matter if that's just being more confident or, like, reevaluating relationships in your life. You don't need to be invited to everything. You don't need to be friends with everyone. It's just, there's literally not enough hours in the day. So really pick and choose what would benefit you and really be honest. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to see something a little bit lighter, I did a what's in my bag video, which will be linked in a card somewhere, or it will definitely be linked below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a really productive week, and I'll see you in my next one.